All right. Welcome, everybody, to Vancouver Creative Tech. And so happy to have everyone here. We're just going to do a quick, short version of our intro because we have a bit of a limited time, but we're going to make it work. Basically, Vancouver Creative Tech is a great opportunity for people started in Vancouver around 6 years ago, but it's kind of grown larger than that to be an international audience of creators, makers, generative artists, motion designers, experimental photographers, everything in between. Since the pandemic of last year in March, we started to go online and it's been pretty successful. So we want to keep that momentum going. And basically it's once a month. We have the last Tuesday of every month, an opportunity for a new person to come share their expertise and their wisdom with everyone in the community. And then we have kind of a discussion format. And today's going to be no different. We're going to start with just a quick kind of introduction from our very special guest. And then we'll kind of ease our way into more of a discussion format. I got a couple of questions that we can kind of seed the talk with. And when folks want to ask something or interject, please raise your hand in the Zoom, and then ask your question, and we'll just kind of keep this discussion started. So very, very honored to have Frederic as our speaker, otherwise known as Fvckrender. And I'm very excited that we're going to talk about crypto art for the second meetup. Our last meetup was with Joshua Davis, and now we're going to continue on that theme of talking about what makes crypto art special, but possibly get into some different territory this time.
Sorry, just quickly,
go ahead, Tim.
just in case, I posted all of our social links in chat as well. So if you want to keep in touch with what we're doing going forward, there are links for our Slack and our Instagram and our YouTube channel. And also there's a tip jar there. If you like what we do, you can toss us a couple bucks to help pay for Zoom and stuff, and keep the momentum going on that.
Thanks so much for posting that. Okay, so for those, most people here probably know who Frederic is and his work. But for those who don't, maybe if you'd like to introduce yourself, give us a bit of context for your work and some of the projects you've been working on, that would be awesome. So take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really bad at selling myself, but I'm a digital artist based in Vancouver, originally from a small city called Magog near Montreal. And yeah, so I've been doing digital art for the past 6 years now. And yeah, I worked on many commercial projects and with many music artists such as Dior, Lil Nas X, Cardi B, work for Instagram for so many different weird projects. But yeah, that's me, I guess.
That's awesome. I know that, so we've talked about crypto art in the past, but I wanted to kind of just get into it for those that, might have never heard the concept before, the term, or might have heard, things like blockchain. Could you just give us a brief intro into your understanding of the community and how everything's working these days?
Yeah, so crypto art, I feel the terminology is more like a movement than a thing. I feel like what's interesting is the NFT part of this crypto art movement is like the NFT is a non-fungible token, which is a token that is written on the blockchain, which allow users to have a certificate of authenticity. Authenticity. And this means that it stays.
I think we lost you there for a bit. Sorry, can you repeat that last part?
Okay, sorry about this, guys.
No worries.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a token that is written on the blockchain, and it gives some sort of like assurance that this gonna stay there. And this is how it gains value. I'm not the well versed to explain how it works, But this is like my take, and with my English skills, trying to explain what's going on with all this. But it's so much bigger than this. It's a big movement, and it's something that is really important for digital artists, because for the first time, digital artists are being recognized for their art and not just like nothing, you know. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I just wanted to kind of start out with a bit of your background. What was your life like prior to kind of joining this movement, and what was the kind of work that you were doing?
Yeah, so basically I was just doing commercial work. So basically it could be advertisement or visuals for shows. I've worked a lot with musicians to do their creative direction for their tours and stuff like this. So um, I'd say this movement allow people to work on what they really want to work on, instead of like executing stuff for other people. And this is the biggest take right now, is like, if we do collaboration with musician now, it's not, you're not paid couple thousand or a couple like $100 for this project. It's a straight up 50-50 split with musician, which makes total sense, because now it's a total collab. So I think, yeah, I think prior to this movement, it was just like making digital art for other people and like other people IDs more than your personal work, kind of.
Yeah, that I like that point. It's kind of repersonalizing it. There's no sort of 7 layers of management or different people involved in that process, right? Who are trying to
Yeah,
mitigate
exactly.
it. It's for the soul in a way. If you could put it, I guess,
Yeah,
in a
totally.
spiritual context. Is that maybe somewhat influencing the themes that you kind of explore in the work that you've been doing? That very personal approach, is there sort of like a spiritual element to what you do?
Yeah, I feel like I've been way more inspired by like this, by what's happening right now, because I'm allowed to really express myself with the timeline I want. Like, I'm not like working for a musician that is like, oh, I need this like tomorrow night. Like, fuck, this is bullshit. Like, this is an unsustainable way to work. And I've been working 90 hours, 100 hours a week for the past 6 years, which is fucking crazy. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who did this, you know?
Hmm. Oh my gosh. I mean, I worked in the film industry for a long time, and I can definitely relate to those kind
Yeah.
of crazy hours, crazy crunch time, demanding, creative directors, always kind of wanting another revision. And maybe that's part of the challenge of working in a digital medium, is sometimes creatives or director types feel like they can ask for unlimited revisions, because to them it doesn't seem like that much more work.
Oh
But
yeah. No, that's for sure.
for the artist, it's like it's man hours. It's crunching through all this and then rendering and optimizing and all those other processes. So
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that. So I guess to that point, what was your experience like when you suddenly discovered, what was your kind of light bulb moment when you discovered this movement and the potential of it?
Yeah, honestly, like, I started without knowing anything about crypto in general, and like I started to read more about it, and I made my first sell was like, I don't know, something like 12 12 Ethereum or something. It was like, and it was something like $8,000, which I was like, holy shit, that's like, for one video, like that's fucking crazy. Like, and I did something that I liked, and now that 12 Ethereum is worth almost $30,000, because I haven't cashed out my Ethereum. So, and I started to learn more about like crypto, and like I started to invest. Like, I used to own a lot of stocks in the stock market, and like I took almost everything out my stocks, all my TFSAs. I put everything in cryptos like Ethereum and like stuff like this, and I it was just like another movement for me to, not only on an artist level, but like on an investment level.
Mhm.
And I truly understood how valuable my art was, and how I could invest in myself that way instead of investing on other people's projects. So yeah.
That's great. Let's just a few more discussion, then we'll open up to some more folks. I was just curious about how your process of art making changed. So the actual art of, what would you even describe as the type of digital art that you create?
That's a very good question, honestly. I don't like to put any label on what I do, because I don't want to be restricted by myself on anything. If tomorrow I want to do I don't know, like a fucking, I don't know, I have no no inspiration. But if I want to do like a book tomorrow, like I don't want to be like, oh, I'm only doing flowers, you know, like I want to have the opportunity. So I don't like to call myself a certain type of artist. I like to have like some room of like some freedom kind of to create whatever I really want.
Nice. Nice. I think that really kind of speaks to a lot of us here about that, looking for that independence. And I think we have a lot of folks here who are also starting to create crypto art and starting to enter those art markets. Maybe for those that don't know, it might be nice if you could just tell us what your thoughts are about these new platforms that are emerging, like Nifty and Super Rare.
Yeah, so I'm a big sucker for Nifty and Super Rare. They've been helping me so much, and honestly, it's truly life changing. This whole like NFT crypto thing. So I highly suggest anybody just to try it out, and even if it doesn't work right now, it doesn't mean it's not gonna work in like a year or a couple months. Like you need to like fucking do it, you know, because you never know like when it's gonna take off. And if you stop in 6 months and it would take off in a year, you have no idea when it's gonna take off. And it's such a important movement in the art history that I don't know, if you don't want to be part of this, you're like, I feel like you're really missing the whole thing. And like there's so many issues with crypto and like all these NFTs, especially for environmental environmental, I don't know what's in English, but problems. But like every new technology, it's very costly for the environment, unfortunately. If you look at electric car, and there's a very good article that just came yesterday, and it was like, if you would mint 200 image, it would be something like 10% if you would do 200 t-shirts or something. Like I don't have the right stats, so I don't want to pronounce myself too much on this, because I think it's something that is really important. We're actually working on a big thing to help offset environmental costs of like not just us but all the artists on Nifty platform. But that's another thing. I can't really talk about it right now, but yeah, I think I went too far from the question. What was the question again?
Oh, no, I just was curious what your thoughts are about the platforms. I think you did answer it, though. I mean, just,
yeah,
it's interesting for those of us, you know, not necessarily that familiar with that process of, you know, being chosen and having your work curated that way, but what it's like to, for once you're sort of inducted into that, you know, relationship with the platform. You know, the only similarity is like an art gallery, right? And maybe having a curator there. So how is it maybe similar, and how is it different maybe than traditional ways of marketing art?
Yeah, so the difference is a traditional art gallery take 50% of your commission, Nifty take 20%. And one thing that is very important to keep in mind, they're getting spammed with so many people trying to apply, and it's not because you're not accepted that your art doesn't mean to be seen. If you're not accepted anywhere, you just need to find the right platform for you. And like these platforms are saturated right now, and it doesn't mean that if you're not on Nifty or Super, you won't have any success. You can have this, I'm pretty sure you can have the same success on any other platform. You just need to put yourself out there and like yeah, just like work on this. And like I think platform has an impact for sure, but we don't know what's like, maybe foundation is going to be the next Nifty in 5 years, which I think Nifty is there to stay because improving the scene and improving every time. But yeah.
That's interesting that there is a lot of stuff tied up right now to the value of Ethereum, like you mentioned, going up like thousands of percent in value. And you know, there's always those early investors that will start putting money into things. I know that the Winklevi twins, the early creators of Facebook, also kind of had that, you know, they started putting money into Bitcoin. But I'm just curious, do you feel like this digital art market will kind of survive outside of or beyond the sort of very volatile period that we're in right now?
What's interesting is crypto can go down 20%, NFTs will go up still. Like I'm taking a very good example. Like you see, like my girlfriend Beige had a drop yesterday. The market of crypto crashed like crazy. I can't say crash because a 30% dip in crypto is not a crash. It's just a little dip. Like it's so volatile that a 30% dip, it doesn't mean anything. But anyway, so it went minus like 20-30%. And if you see her drop yesterday went super crazy, and even today she sold like a piece for in the secondary market. So someone bought it for $1,000 and sold it for almost $9,000 today on Nifty Gateway. So even if crypto or the stock market goes down, I truly believe that art will always gain value no matter what.
That's a beautiful answer. And another point I thought was interesting, this was brought up by our last host in our last meetup, was the idea of the secondary market. Can you talk a bit about the value of the secondary market to the artist?
Yeah, honestly, secondary market is the main reason it's so crazy, because so basically I'm able to do what I was doing working in a restaurant every week just with secondary market, which is fucking crazy to think about. Like I'm just sitting on my computer, or like I woke up in the morning, I see like a $200 sale like from secondary market because someone sold it for $2,000. This is crazy to think, because it creates a passive income, which is something that everybody is looking to get. And like all your life, you're to me, like since I'm really young, I've always think about like how can I generate a passive income so I don't stress to pay my rent. So I know that I have some money that is happening at some point. And secondary market is the best thing that can happen into the art history, because you get paid because someone made a sale, and so someone made money out of your artwork, and you still get a little percentage of this, which is, I don't know, it's crazy to me.
Right. And so in traditional art markets, like there is no secondary market for the artist. The artist just sells it once, and then the collector then sells it to somebody else, and then it just slowly appreciates, and that's pretty much it.
But they give 50% to the art gallery.
And they give 50%, which is just so painful. So no, you're right. That's a really, really big advantage. I think right now, maybe thanks so much for answering those of my questions. Let's open it up a bit to the floor. If people want to raise their hand in Zoom, we'd be happy to take your question, and then just unmute. Do we have anybody here? Okay, Sam, take it away, Sam.
I'm just, I mean, I know with these crypto markets, there's a lot of galleries. The one you're on sounds to be Nifty. I'm just wondering what happens when one of these galleries or markets fails. Like, is there any redeeming of these NFT tokens, or do they just kind of disappear?
Yeah, that's such a good question, actually. So there's a lot of controversial, because Nifty Gateway tokenize your own work. So basically that means that the work I'm creating for Nifty is not tokenized on my wallet. So I don't own the artwork at the end. Nifty does. So if Nifty would disappear tomorrow, which it's linked with Gemini. Gemini is here to stay. If Nifty doesn't is not here tomorrow, it's gonna impact Gemini so much. And Gemini is a pretty big institution already. But anyway, I'm everything would still be on OpenSea, so like it would still be available for purchase. I wouldn't. The only thing that would happen to me is I wouldn't get any more secondary market, but the artwork would still be there. The artwork would still maintain its value, and people could still trade a Fvckrender piece, but I wouldn't just receive secondary market, which is to me it's not a big deal. Like as much as I love secondary market, if anything happened to Nifty, as long as people that collect my artwork are able to make profit or just gain value, I'm more than happy. Like it's yeah. And but the other thing is you have like super rare where all the artwork is minted by me, so I'm the owner. So if super rare crash tomorrow or disappear, I'm still the owner, so I'll still receive an income. I think it's a very good question, but I would have to see if you still receive income actually if super rare crash too. Good question.
Thank you.
All right. Another question. Let's see. All right, Ari, take it away.
Hey, thank you very much for the presentation. This is very informative and quite interesting for me. I've had this idea for a while of creating artwork. I work as a visual effects artist, so I'm typically working on other people's projects for movies or television shows or commercials. But I've been very interested in creating my own artwork for myself, and I've done so occasionally, but it could only be in between projects because, you know, you have to get paid so you can eat and clothe yourself and whatnot. So this is an interesting way for artists that have a skill set and have had the desire to be able to enter into more of this lifestyle where they can focus on creating their own artwork. So I guess my specific question is in regards to commissions. Like, how do these platforms work with, is there a dialogue where people can reach out to artists that are currently being exhibited and, you know, to reach out to them to see if they can contract them to create something and have some sort of dialogue in that regard?
Yeah, so you mean example like I got my friend Victor Mascara is an amazing NFT artist. You mean like if you can contact Nifty Gateway to if you can contact this guy to create some sort of commercial project? Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, to create an original art piece for a paid, you know, it's instead of telling the artist what to make, it would be, hey, I'd like to hire you to make me an awesome art piece. And either you can make whatever you want and I just pay to have something original created, or maybe there could be a dialogue saying like, hey, I really like this type of work that you've done before. Could you make something else similar to that, but maybe a little bit different, you know, for me? So like to pay to have.
Would it be NFT?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Okay, so you want, so basically, okay, example, you're a collector and you want to hire me or Victor or Beige to do an NFT. So you want a custom NFT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that is doable. I'm currently doing one with a collector of mine that because I'm building something called Fvcrenderverse. So I build this whole universe and I'm adding planets and stars into this whole thing, and I'm creating a custom stars to one of my biggest collectors. So
that's awesome.
That's actually a question I was going to ask you, so you led into it perfectly. What is Fvcrenderverse and
yeah, so Fvcrenderverse was a experience that I created. I wanted to create something that is like that was never been done, something that was true to myself, and like I want people to explore where my imagination can go, and it's a it's a game that I don't like to use game, but it's easier to digest for people to understand. But like, so I created this kind of game in Unreal Engine where you can see all my NFTs that was available on Nifty Gateway. So it was like a cool way to showcase like an art gallery type of like virtual art gallery, but like in a very massive landscape where you can just like wander around it. It looks really nice. And yeah, so this was just one planet. Every drop adding to this, like, and I'm adding star pieces are stars. I'm working with like my collectors to make them like particular stars for certain amount of Ethereum. But yeah, it's a big thing I'm building, and I just hired like 3 game dev to work with me almost full time on this. So it's gonna be pretty crazy in the next few weeks or months. I hope.
And like a traditional gallery, will there be names of the owners, and will they have like sold or on?
Yeah, so basically, if you go on the artwork, so you walk in the landscape, and there's like this big sculpture that is like so fucking huge, and you can look at it, and there's a QR code where you can take your phone and you can scan it, and it brings you to the Nifty Gateway page or Super Rare page, where you can see all the owners, how much they paid for it, how much you resell for it, or all the information, like all the analytic of that piece in particular.
Will it be compatible with like the Oculus? Will people be able to go in 3D,
So,
check it out?
like a lot of people ask me to do it VR. Like to me, I get motion sick so easy. So I'm not a big fan of like VR. And most of like my creation, I make them in Oculus Medium. So I still spend a lot of time in VR, but I get so sick. So it's like a love-hate relation. But I'm working on making it multiplayer and VR for the next update for sure.
That'll be awesome. I'm going to actually go into the meetup. I noticed username Meefs. Is that Kenneth? Is that you? I believe you had a question about create an NFT that contains all the assets and source code that you could render it on the. Sorry, could you read the actual question that you had?
Yeah, you have his hand up anyway.
Hey.
Oh,
sorry about that.
no worries.
So yeah, actually, I have a few questions, but I don't want to, just take up all the bandwidth. One of the things that I've kind of seen in terms of where the market is at right now. So a lot of people are just, they're just figuring out about this revolution, and it kind of was, and they are, they're really excited, as they should be, but one thing I've kind of had in my mind is like the second and third order markets or effects of this market, and not just reselling, but how do you integrate your work? I missed, unfortunately, what you were saying prior, Frederic, but it sounds like there's going to be a marriage of gaming and then your NFTs, and in terms of, I don't know, let's just say value. I think that there's a lot of value there. But one thing that's kind of up in the air right now is like, okay, so I've received this NFT, who owns it? And as the EULAs or the end user license agreements are written, copyright law still, is upheld. So if your work is copyrighted, then it's still copyrighted as an NFT. But you could have an NFT that actually contains, creative assets, files, what have you, and you can link it to like a S3 bucket or whatever, where only that token or only that thing can access that resource, and it gets it one time, and then once it, it comes through, that's it. But we still haven't really got to that point of like, yo, I'll pay 10x to get the source code, and then the open edition, if you will, is just like the JPEG or the PNG or what have you. But how do you feel about that? How do you feel about allowing basically whomever access to potentially your files or your source in order to claim or for you to receive greater value for that, that's being provided to the community versus like, say a picture or an animation or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, one of my good friend, Gavin Safiro, he did drop on Nifty, and he gave the source file of this drop for people to mint however they wanted on Rarible or stuff like this. But what's interesting is if you go on Rarible, you can go. The other day I bought, I don't remember. Yeah, it was like the Crypto Cube. I don't know if you guys like know what Crypto Cube is. Okay, so Crypto Cube is like it's like a collectible. So I paid 10 ETH for this Crypto Cube, and I received this image, which is the token. And what's nice about Rarible is that it comes with downloadable files to source like this, but I also object, so I can do a 3D render with it if I want to, or I can do anything with it. If I own like a Decentraland parcel, I could put the Crypto Cube in there, which is pretty cool. Like I like the ideas of like giving out like source files with the NFTs. I think it could add a pretty good value for sure.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That was a really good question too. And it's interesting how many people are thinking through all the problems that might come up, right? Because this is still so new for a lot of people. Let's see, do we have any other folks that have a question they'd like to ask? All right. I guess not at the moment. Okay. Amira Aziz, you have a question? Oh, okay.
Yeah, hi.
Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, just a quick question. I just wanted to ask, to what degree do you drive your own market, in the sense that, like, let's say somebody like has 100,000, 300,000 or followers on Instagram, or they've got like a super large Twitter presence, and they're quite well known, so to speak, in the social world. Does that play like a really kind of a primary part, or is it more these marketplaces like driving it? Like, let's say somebody is on Super Rare, which is obviously curated, or Raribles is more of just like a submitting things. But to what degree does an artist's existing profile online and social media and that kind of thing, followers, and how well known their work is, and their real world kind of clout, so to speak, to what degree does that drive their sales versus kind of just like the marketplace itself, and just kind of like collectors being on there and just buying what they see and like?
Yeah, I'll be totally honest, like, and it's gonna suck what I'm gonna say, but it has a big impact for sure. But I've seen so many artists that have like 500 followers on Instagram, and they were doing like 600K sales on Nifty Gateway. So I don't think it's I think if your art speaks for itself and you do something that you truly love and you share your passion, there's a high chance that it's gonna take off. It doesn't mean you're gonna enter that space and you're gonna make 600K. It does, like, this is nonsense. And like, yeah, you see drops like the Beeple one, and you're like, oh shit, this guy made $6 million. I can make it doesn't work like this. And like, even if you do like $1,000, you've did something. So I think starting slow and like try to be more present on Twitter or like Instagram. Don't be too present, because this repels collectors. If you want my opinion, so people that are too thirsty, it shows from distance. But yeah, if you just be yourself and like do art that you like. And of course, there's a little study of the market of what sells, but like I don't like to influence my work on what sells, because it doesn't mean that what sells right now will sell in 5 years. No, you need to create something that for you will sell in 5 years. But yeah, it has an impact for sure, but I don't think you're fucked if you don't have like a big followers or a big social presence. Like, as long as you submit and you put your art out there, if one collector sees your art and this collector is all in and people love his collection, dude, you're set. So yeah,
Cool. Thanks, man.
you're welcome.
Hi, I have a question sort of following up on sort of the idea of market. So I noticed some people on these rare art markets have sort of these, I wouldn't call them cross promotion, but this idea of like sort of physical merchandise based on their like rare art IP. What's your take on that? Because like if you sell a piece of rendered art with like a very distinctive, like let's say your Fvckrender, like I don't know how you plan on doing this in the future, but like let's say you have a planet that's very distinctly visually, and then you know it takes off. Do you see that as ethical to say take that visual and put it on Merc, even though that art itself is being collected by someone?
Yeah, I actually I really love this question. To me, if I sell it as an NFT, the general rule, if someone collected as an NFT, they don't have any rights on making any merch or anything. They only own the token. I live in a loft, especially in Vancouver. It's like all the lofts are super small, so I don't have any room for physical objects. So I'm probably the worst to answer this question, because I really hate physical stuff. Like I'm just not a fan, and I don't like seeing my work on clothing as well. I think it belongs on the digital aspect. I love see the only physical I like is like doing murals. That's like the only thing that I'm like, oh shit, this belongs there. But like, yeah, I don't know if this answers your question.
I think there was a portion where we lost your audio for a bit, but if I understand correctly, you're saying a collector is not allowed to reproduce it and sell it as merchandise. Is that what you were saying?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
They don't own the copyright on the image. They only own the token behind.
Got it. Okay, and that was intentional. That was so that there's not this other merchandising market. And I guess to follow up on that question, how is style and plagiarism? I just want to kind of delve into a bit of that. How is that being handled by these platforms right now? And I guess what I'm asking is, somebody sees somebody's work, they take an element of that work or an asset that was used or something that's like very similar, and then they publish it. Who determines how stylistically similar that is? Is it platform to platform, or is it some sort of larger body that kind of would look into plagiarism versus inspired by?
It's gonna be, yeah. Honestly, like I'll be honest, it's a fucking shit show right now, because there's people using other people's work and they implement it on their own work on Rarible, and it's fucking terrible because it's literally stealing, and there's nothing you can really do about this. But the only thing you can do is like hit up the platform and be like, hey, this guy stole my work, and like there's a process, and it doesn't take long because most of the platform knows the artists who create initially the art. And like there's like that kid Mograph got stole. I don't know if you guys know Kid Mograph, but he's an amazing 2D illustrator and 3D artist, and his artwork got stolen and got sold on Rarible, and it took 2 hours and it was taken down on Rarible. So like the community is so strong and people support each other so hard. So yeah.
That's really tragic, but there's a happy ending to it.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, it just like the account gets locked and they lose everything that they've collected if they collected something, or they lose all their NFTs. So,
And I guess, would you say that in some ways that because the artist, there's a process for getting on the platform, the role of the artist, the persona, their following gives them a lot of credit, and it's easier to determine who's the originator versus somebody who just comes on a platform, has a piece of stolen work and tries to get that sold?
Yeah, probably. I think this could have an impact too, but like you might see someone who has a big following and he steals from a smaller artist, like we see with like Virgil Abloh or something. So yeah.
Okay.
That would be crazy. I haven't seen this yet, but yeah, it's
this is kind of like going backwards a little bit in the conversation, but just touching on the whole like concept of physical pieces. I think you kind of touched on this, but I actually am excited that like it's not the norm to provide physical pieces, because like that has basically been the default standard forever, right? That like it exists in some physical space. And I know like for myself, I've struggled with that, trying to find a way to take like, something that's digital, generative, like running in real time, but then make it into something that you can, like put on a poster or whatever. Like it kind of doesn't really do that medium justice. So I actually kind of like that that's not the default here, and that there's finally a way to represent those things and sell those things in a way that, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like honestly, like I prefer having all my collection on Nifty Gateway. Like I've been starting to collect about 2 or 3 months ago, and I have 50. Oh wow, I hit 50 Nifties that I collected already. And to me, I prefer having them on Nifty Gateway. And like if I started Instagram just to display my Nifty. I prefer this way much than having 50 artwork in my apartment. Like, because I don't know, my apartment as it is like his own personal style, and like there's so many artwork that I like that doesn't fit in my apartment, so like I don't know, I like the digital way of collecting.
Kenneth, you got another question? Go for it.
Sorry, here trying to make sure we don't have a crazy space echo again. So I really like that idea, by the way, of creating more or less like an Instagram profile or a social media profile for your art, even though like Nifty Gallery or Nifty Gateway, will display your stuff on your profile, but you can have more of an actual engagement, right, with the audience and people who are like spectators. So that's that's clever. That's very clever. But my question was more so on like the physical aspect. Like one of the great unfulfilled promises of NFT is provenance. So we can, in effect, use an NFT to say, where does something come from, right? And then to the next order that we can use the NFT as a means of exchange. But I'm not certain, I guess, what exists out there for that, where people would have like, I don't know, they're traditional artists, they have X amount of pieces, and then they just want to use the NFT to like keep track of their stuff. And, how do they manage, how's that managed? Or has anyone seen that yet, where you can have an NFT attached to a physical item and then some sort of protocol or what have you, where that physical item is exchanged or kept in like an escrow or something while the sale takes place?
Yeah, honestly, this is a question way beyond my knowledge. Yeah, like all about physical stuff. Like it's something I can really answer, because I don't have much knowledge. I haven't dipped my toes into this. I don't even know how the trade-off would work. I know that like I own Into the Ether, which from people which come with the bucks, but I never claimed the bucks because I personally I don't want them in my apartment. So I know that having it unclaimed is worth more than having it claimed. So I really answer on top of like the basic knowledge I have about this, unfortunately.
That's okay. Just means there's a lot of new stuff to discover, I think, in the coming years. And yeah, so does anyone have any other questions for the group?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's less financial in nature, but it's more like digital art. Often in the past, I remember I was on DeviantArt for a while, and it's just a whole bunch of like there's pictures everywhere, and you just look at it. I am a little bit curious of how does it change how you feel about the work people do, knowing that only usually a single person can own it at a given time? Does that change how the work means to you or how you relate to it?
Not sure to understand that question. Sorry. Can you clarify?
It's like the assumption I have is that when something is sold on Nifty or Super Rare, there's just one copy of the NFT that is transferred the ownership. And unlike typically digital media, it can be everywhere and reproduced infinitely. And this can't in the same way. And does that change your relationship to it? Like, does it feel more special or?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, so basically all the pieces I put on the blockchain is the pieces I like the most. And it's pieces that like, because I've been posting on Instagram, like I did 1,500 day in a row. 1,500 days in a row for like, I wanted to do daily render, which is the most toxic thing you can do for yourself. But anyway, so I'm not attached to 90% of these artwork because some I was like in Mexico and I was a little bit drunk at 3 a.m. I was oh shit, I need to do my daily render, you know. So there's a couple ones that I'm not like attached at all, and I feel like what I post on like the blockchain, like as an NFT, it's like what I consider my best work because I want people to collect what I truly believe in, what I think will gain value. Because at the end of the day, like if someone pays something, like I'm someone that feels guilty for like I had a very successful drop on Nifty Gateway, and the first emotion I felt was guilt because people were spending money on my stuff. And if people spend money, I want people to make money over time, and that's my main goal. So I'll do everything for my artwork to gain values. That's my mission, you know.
We got sorry, Kenneth, do you have another question or is that a raised hand from a previous one?
It may have been from previous, but I was just curious, how did you come up with the name Fvckrender or FC or FVCK or render? Is that, you know, a jab at any specific software or process, or how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so I started about 6 years ago, and I started with like a 2012 MacBook Pro, and I was using physical render at that time, and it was very slow to render stuff, and it was like terrible. And at first, it was just for me to learn. I wanted to have a place where I can store all my renders together. So I started this Instagram. So I was like, oh, I need to find a name. Like that's the first thing you need to do when you start Instagram. You need to find a name. I was like, oh, Fvckrender. So I did Fvckrender, and it was like, oh, this name is not. You can put a curse word. So I was like, oh, I'll put a V instead. Now supposedly you can do Fvckrender with a U because someone took that name. But but personally, I prefer the V because it sounds less harsh or like aggressive. But yeah, yeah, it started like this. Like my computer at that time, like I literally had like the worst computer, and I had like minus thousands of dollars in my bank account, so I couldn't buy any computers. So yeah, for 2 years I was running on that old shitty MacBook until I could start to make a little bit money. I bought my first computer. My first PC was $350, and it didn't came with a graphic cards, and I had my first graphic cards after like 3 years and a half or something. But yeah, it's a big journey for sure.
That's awesome. You've come such a long way. It's I mean, I can't even look. When I started with Bryce, I don't know if anyone here remembers Bryce 3D. Like,
oh God, Bryce 3D.
you know, you could recognize it a mile away. You could see like those terrible procedural oceans and like terrible skies. Oh my God. Yeah. I just want to bury those so far away. Go ahead, Amir, you got another question?
Yeah, just a quick question. I just wanted to ask about how did you find the process of applying to these things? I mean, I know that they're probably getting overloaded, and it's a pretty manual process. I mean, I've looked at a bunch of them. You know, you got to apply in the website and the this and that, and there's probably a room of people that are actually physically looking at these things. But just how did you find the process, and you know, kind of, do you have any tips for you know, having a successful kind of application to some of the curated collections?
Yeah, so for me it took a month for Super Rare to approve me, and it was the cringiest thing I've ever done. I had to do like 2 minutes interview, like not interview, a video of myself explaining who I was and why I wanted to be on their platform. And my video, so I did one take. So I woke up at like probably 6. I wake up in between 6 and 7 every day, and I woke up, my hair was all fucked up, and I just put like a big like crew neck, and I was like, okay, so I'm Fvckrender, I'm digital art. I did like the worst interview, and I was like, okay, they're never gonna take me seriously. I sent them this. It took between 3 weeks and a month and 1 week to get approved. And after I got like a couple good sales on Super Rare, and Nifty Gateway reached out to me, and they were like, hey, do you want to do a drop on Nifty Gateway? So I was like, oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we know you have to.
sure.
I'm sorry, Frederic. Looks like you cut off.
To apply.
I think you cut out there for a second.
Oh, my bad.
No worries.
Well,
just wanted to say we're being wary of your time. We know you're a busy,
that's what
busy guy.
I just checked. Yeah.
Can I just ask one final question, which is
for sure. Thank you so much for.
Thank you. It's our pleasure to host you. What's next for you, and where can people follow you?
Yeah, so okay, people can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm way more active on Twitter now, because the community is way stronger there, and people are way more kind on Instagram. You can't find me on TikTok. No kidding. I think I still have some posts there, but I don't go there. And what's next for Fvckrender is, I mean, maybe less commercial work, more personal work, and more Beige, Victor, Mascara, and I are getting a studio actually this week in Vancouver, and we're starting our own studio. Nothing too serious, just like a place for us to work and chill. So yeah, I'd say the main thing would be Fvcrenderverse. It's something that I want to dedicate 100% of my time, my work time, into this project, because it's something that I truly believe in. And in 6 years, I've never been as passionate as this project that I have right now. And it's the first time literally in like 2-3 years that I have something that I want to wake up for, like in the meaning, like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh shit, I really want to work on this. Like it's been a while that I had this feeling, and it feels super nice.
Would you call it a calling? It's your calling?
Yeah, I would call this a calling for sure. Like for so long I wanted to create my own type of universe, or like my own sort of environment, and this just like came at the perfect time, and yeah.
Well, we're so grateful that you were able to join us tonight. So
Yeah,
thank you so
much.
much.
And yeah, sorry for the short time. Like, yeah, I'm really sorry for this, but I really appreciate you guys having me, and I'm really humble. And like, when's this? I know a lot of people are in Vancouver. If everybody's in Vancouver, but like, let's grab a beer in Sunset Beach this summer if COVID lets us hang out. That would be sick.
I think everybody here would love to. So
yeah, beers or soda if someone doesn't drink alcohol.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much and appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you
Frederic.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And everyone here is welcome to stay on. I'm sure we have lots more to talk about. Tim, did you want to? Do you have any topics you wanted to kind of add to the discussion?
I mean, not really. Way to put me on the spot.
Sorry, man. I thought I heard your mic.
No, I mean, I don't know. We could keep chatting. We could also just kind of keep this one short and sweet. You know, we've got next month to keep the conversations going, right? So.
Okay.
Unless you know, anyone in chat has anything they want to share or talk about.
What do you have in mind for next month? Is there like already something planned?
Well, I know that our friend Sam has a project he's been working on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, for first off, anyone that's in the Vancouver area, within the next week, I recommend heading down to Davie and Thurlow and taking a walk through Smile, a new project by myself and my brother Ben Cooper. It is a large-scale electrical component designed to make you smile, basically. And it is also the latest iteration of the Tetra technology that Ben and I have been working on for the past 3 or 4 years now. So if there's any interest, I'd like next month to do a walk through some of the technology that went into making that series of pieces. Yeah, if anyone's interested, I could set up a little demo here, and yeah, nose to tail, I can walk people through Tetra, if you like.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, we believe we might have Ben, if Ben is still on or if he's dropped off, maybe he could give a little shout out about that too.
I think he pieced out immediately.
Well, he's a busy guy with a nephew and such. So.
By the way, other Vancouver folks, have you managed to check out the the digital mural festival that's been going on?
I've been living vicariously through your stream, your Instagram.
I haven't gone to too many, unfortunately. I should go to more. For those not in Vancouver, I think it's called the Winter Mural Festival. I believe that's what it's called.
It's basic
Winter Arts Fest.
Winter Arts Fest.
Winter Arts. Yeah.
That's right. And basically, it's a series of physical installations around the city with QR codes, and then you use your smartphone and you get to see an AR installation that's a place specific. So it pulls up like a 3D version of something that's like traditionally, like a mural on the side of a building. So, and some of them are interactive too. So I would encourage you, if you're in Vancouver, to come check them out. For sure.
Yeah, Lane and Saida both have pieces in there.
That's right.
I helped out with a few of them as well.
Saida.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
You're on the call here. Do you want to? We'll give a little shout out to your piece. What's it called?
Oh, sorry. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah. What's your piece called, and where can people find it?
Yeah. I don't actually remember when. It's like next to Waterfront Station. Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere there. I forgot exact address of it. Because I'm not really good with maps specifically, but I know like visualize. I can visualize where it is. Yeah.
That's awesome. And how long are these on for? Like, when is the festival over?
Oh, it's really soon, actually. It's almost over, I think.
28th.
27th, I believe, or something. 28th.
28th. So you got this week.
I got this week.
Check it
Okay. I'll try to make it out this week because I love that. I love that. And then it looks like they chose it for Daily Hive. There was an article about it, and I noticed they had your piece in there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm happy about it too. Yeah, there was like a lot of cool pieces there. I really like the Caspian's one with like a meditating man with the mushrooms. I think that this one was so cool. Yeah, lots of awesome ones.
And hopefully we'll see a lot more of these. I've never actually heard of an AR Euro Festival before, so could be the launch.
I'm surprised I still haven't checked it out because, you know, it sounds like something up your alley.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think maybe to Tim's point, unless folks have other things you wanted to chat about, maybe this would be a good time to wrap up.
Kenneth, is your hand up from before, or did you have something else? Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe we should just call it. Keep this one short and sweet.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we'll be back next month. We usually do last Tuesday of each month. And yeah, that was awesome. Thanks everyone for coming out.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks for organizing, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, guys, great to see everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care,
Have a good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.